Hi, in this session we will review the customer return process in general and product demonstration for the same in Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012. After receiving the goods from vendor, customer will check the quality of goods and confirm the other order details. Sometimes goods may get damaged during transportation, or sometimes goods may not be meeting customers' expectation or found to be defective. In such cases, customer will send the goods back to vendor. Vendor will review the defective goods and may send new goods as a replacement to defective goods or may credit the customer account. Let us go through the simulation of customer return process. Miss Lisa is a sales representative at RSBTC and Mr. John is working as a purchase manager for one of the authorized distributor of RSBTC. So John is representing customer and Lisa is representing RS Bicycle Trading Company as a vendor to John. Recently, RS Bicycle Trading Company delivered an order to John and Lisa is just confirming about the delivery and asking John to confirm the same on receipt of goods. After carefully reviewing the delivered bicycle, John found that one piece was damaged during transportation, 3 pieces are found to be defective, and 2 pieces are of wrong size. John informing to their vendor Lisa about the same and Lisa is asking to send back the defective goods. However, it does not make sense to have damaged pieces back as it is no longer usable. Lisa is asking not to return the damaged one but assuring to credit the money back for the same. John, customer of RSBTC, sending the goods back to vendor. Lisa, after receiving the defective goods back, informs to their customer John that they will review the received goods and let him know once return is processed. After reviewing the return bicycle, RSBTC decided that out of 3 defective pieces, 2 pieces will be replaced with new one, 1 pieces will be put back to inventory and will credit the customer. Out of 2 pieces of wrong size, 1 pieces will be scrapped as it cannot be repaired. However, 1 piece is found to be right size only and will be sent back to customer as it is. For example, reject the return. 2 new pieces along with 1 old pieces will be sent to customer back. For the remaining 3 pieces, RSBTC will credit the customer account. In order to process the customer return, a return order will be used in Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012. There are 5 simple steps to set up, create and process the return order in AX 2012. We will review the setup now and later stages during product demonstration. There can be different reasons why products are being returned and there can be a different set of actions to handle them. The reason codes are set up to determine why a customer wants to return items, and disposition codes will determine about what will happen to the return items from a physical and a financial perspective. Sometimes company may charge handling fee or repairing cost to the customer for the products being returned. User can define the return charge either on a disposition code or on a reason code or both. Let us review the setup of reason code, disposition code and return charge in details. Company may want to track the information on why goods are being returned. User can set up the different reason codes and link it to the return order. Applying reason codes on returns can help simplify the analysis of return patterns. For example, analysis may tell that 80% of the goods being returned are defective and 20% of the goods being returned are due to shipping errors. Some company may have many reason codes and they will group the reason codes in the reason code groups for a better overview and for accumulated reporting. There can be one reason code linked to the return order. Hence, if there are multiple reasons for goods being returned, then separate return order to be created for each type of reason. Let us see how to create a reason code and reason code group in AX 2012. In order to create a reason code and reason code group, click on Sales and Marketing. Under the Setup menu, click on Sales Order, and under the Sales Order we have a Returns field group, and under the Returns field group we can look at first reason codes and reason code groups. So we will first look at the reason codes. As you can see, there are already existing reason codes and you can create n number of reason codes. These are the already created return codes in the system. So products being returned can be because they got obsolete, or could be defective or damaged during shipping, or duplicate customer order. There can be various reasons why products are being returned, and all of them can be first created in the reason codes, in the return reason codes form. We will also create a new sample code, that is, let's say RG reason code, sample reason code, and we can link a reason code group here. That is mandatory. So we can link any of this existing group, or we can go to right click, view details, and create a new group called reason code group, and we can link this group to here. As we said, reason code group can be used for accumulated reporting and for easy selection. It also represents the logical grouping of similar reason codes. And alternatively, you can also directly go to return reason code groups form and create a group, and then link a return reason code from here. You can create a new one. This is an alternative way to link reason codes to reason code group. Now we can also set up the charges on return reason codes. For that, open the return reason codes form. In our case, we have some defective products being returned by the customer, and we will charge 10 euro as a handling fee. In order to set up charges, click on charges action menu. Here click on new, and then select the charges code. So here also you can set up different charges code, but that we will review it in another video series of miscellaneous charges. But for now we set the kind of charges being applied, so that is a handling charge. Here we can set up whether it's a fixed charge or it is a percentage of amount. So for now we set it as a fixed charge of 10 euro. We leave this checkbox unchecked. We will cover these charges details in video series of miscellaneous charge. For now we have set up the fixed handling charge of 10 euro. Whenever we use reason code number 21, that is used for defective products, the fixed charge of 10 euro as a handling fee will be applied on a return order. So this is how we can set up the reason codes and reason code groups. Let us review the disposition codes now. Disposition codes are also a part of the customer return setup. They determine what will happen to the return items from a physical and a financial perspective. There are 6 predefined disposition actions available in Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012. Let us review each of them in details. Use disposition action credit when you want to accept the defective items and credit the customer back. In simple words, return the money back to customer and put the defective goods back into the inventory. Goods may require repairing before putting it back to the inventory. Sometimes transportation cost of the goods is higher than the cost of the goods itself, and in such cases we may ask customer to keep the goods with themselves and return or credit the money back. Use disposition action credit only in this case. Sometimes defective products cannot be repaired and it has to be scrapped. Use the disposition action scrap, and that will scrap the products being returned. Then replace and scrap. We may want to send a new goods as a replacement to the defective goods, and the products which were returned can no longer be used and has to be scrapped. Then use replace and scrap as a disposition action. Then replace and credit. In this case, we will send the new goods as a replacement to old goods, and all goods will be put into the inventory back. Sometimes we will reject the return items and send it back to customer as it is. Then use the return to customer disposition action. Let us see how to create new disposition code in AX 2012. In order to create a new disposition code, go to Sales and Marketing. Then under the Setup menu, locate the Sales Order menu. Then under the Sales Order menu, we have a Return menu. Then click on Disposition Codes. As you can see, there are already certain disposition codes created, and we can create a new one by clicking on New. Give a disposition code let's say this thing. Here you can select the one of the 6 available disposition action as we explained in the previous slide. So select the appropriate action, let's say credit, and give a brief description. You can have a same action but with different description. For example, this credit requires a repair and this credit does not require repair. Similarly, you can create n number of disposition actions. So this is how we can create a new disposition actions. And we can also specify the charges on a disposition code which will be applicable on the product. So let's say in our case we will apply again fixed charge of €10 for the credit disposition action, that is 11 number disposition code. So click on charges, and here you can select the charges code, that is again handling fee, and that is of €10. Yeah, and that's it. So whenever we select this disposition code, €10 of fixed charge will be applicable. So we have set up €10 of fixed charge on return reason code and €10 of fixed charge for the credit disposition code. Now let us see how to create return order in AX 2012. In order to create a return order, click on sales and marketing, then under the common action menu click on return orders, then click on all return orders. From the new action menu, click on return order. Here we can select the customer which is returning the goods, so that is 1101 in our case. We have already delivered 6 pieces of bicycles to 1101, and under the general action menu, here we can select the return reason code. So let's say this is the product which was damaged. So here we will select this return reason code as 23. Due to a high transportation cost, vendor will ask the customer to not to return the goods and scrap the goods at their premises, and will credit the money back to customer account. So this is a scenario where the product is damaged. We don't want customer to send the goods back to us, and we will credit the money back to them. So we'll process that scenario now. Here we can select the return reason code appropriate. So for now it's a defective, it is damaged. Click OK. Then as a next step we need to create the return order line, that is the product being returned. Here we can create the return order line manually. Select the product, our bicycle, and how many quantities are being returned and other things, and we can process the same. Or alternatively, we can also use find sales order utility, where we can copy the details from already invoiced sales order. So click on find sales order utility. Here we see all the invoices which has been delivered to 1101 customer, that is the customer for which we create a return order. So select the invoice, and on this form here select the quantities being returned. So in our case one piece was damaged, so that is this scenario we will process now. So give 1 piece and then click on OK. That will automatically create the return order line. Then as a next step we need to link disposition action. What shall we do with this return order line? Then you can link a disposition code by clicking on lines detail tab, then here click disposition code, and notice that from return order line only one type of disposition code can be linked, that is credit only. So that is what available. So we can link it from here, or alternatively we can also use registration utility update line registration, and here we can also link, but here all the other options are available other than credit only. Because credit only option, that means we are not actually receiving the goods physically, but we are just sending money back, so we don't need registrations of the goods. So select the disposition code credit only from line action menu. Then we also need to select the batch and serial number for which we are processing the return order line. So before we specify the batch and serial number, let us also review what has been delivered to customer. So if we go to inventory and warehouse management, on hand inventory, here we have a 4 pieces of bicycle available physically. the batch number B1 and serial number 7, 8, 9, 10, and what we deliver to customer is serial number 01 to 06, but batch number B1. So we will use batch number B1 and serial number 01 to 06 to process the return order line and create a return order for. Then again coming to return order line, so we will, this is the first piece, that is batch B1 and serial number 01. So here is the one piece being written, and save the line. As soon as you save the line, system will create a return order automatically that can be located under the all sales order under the account receivable, and as you can see the return order is created and all the return order line information will get copied here. So one piece of R bicycle being written. Then as a next step, we can invoice update this sales order. Notice that invoice update can only be done using the sales order of type return order which was just created. So we go to this order and invoice update this one. This is a scenario where goods are not being actually received because it was damaged at customer end. We will simply credit the money back to customer, and that's the reason the picking and packing tab are not enabled. So only option is invoice. So we will invoice update this one. Under the lines we can check, we are going to invoice update. We are going to credit 100 euro back to customer. Click OK. So this has been done. Now we have another 5 pieces are also being written, and we will create another return order with different reason codes. So again go to sales and marketing, click on all return orders and click on return orders. Select the same customer, but this time we have a different disposition codes, but this time we will have a different reason code, and that is the under the defective reason code group we will select the 21 defective. Click OK. Notice that defective reason code has a 10 euros of fixed charge applicable, and this charge we can look at by clicking on maintain charges, and as you can see the 10 euros of fixed charge is applied on return order. Now as a next step, we have processed one of the piece which was being written, and we have another 5 pieces to be processed yet. So we go to we will use find sales order utility again, select, and as you can see it says that the quantity being written is greater than what can be covered by the return lot, because we have already processed one product. So now the quantity to return is 5, and then click OK. So here return order line has been created with 5 pieces. Then as a next step, we need to link a proper disposition action about what we do with the items being written. Then we can either register using the update line registration utility, but notice that the single type of disposition action can be specified for all the 5 quantities. And alternatively, we can process using the item arrival overview form, and in order to locate item arrival overview form, click on inventory and warehouse management, and from the periodic menu click on arrival overview. Here select the return order and click on update here. Yeah, so as you can see the return order line can be processed now. So we will start the arrival for, that means the goods have arrived at our warehouse and we will register them one by one. So select the return order line and click on start arrival, which will create the arrival overview journal, and click on line step. As we can see the arrival overview journal with 5 pieces have been created. Now we have several possible options available. We can link first of all we need to link a different disposition actions to each pieces of bicycle. So first we will split the arrival overview journal line using the function and split. We will split for one quantity. Likewise we will split for all the 5 pieces. So now 5 journal lines, and we can link different types of disposition actions to each of them. In order to link disposition action, click on general, and here we have a disposition codes available. Here all the actions available other than credit only. So we can link different actions, like we will link one is credit, replace a credit, replace and scrap, return to customer and scrap, and we have 5 different lines. And we will also analyze what happens with the different type of actions. So before we specify that, we will also specify the dimensions, that is the serial and batch number. So we specify batch number P1 and serial number 02, batch number. So batch number and serial number have been specified. Scenario credit: defective product is received back by the vendor and money is credited to customer account. Received product will be put back to inventory. Now this is the bicycle piece, which we will simply put back to inventory and we will credit the money back. So for that, the disposition code is credit. Put item back to inventory and we will send the money back to customer. Scenario replace and credit: replace the old goods with the new goods and credit the customer for the difference amount, if any. Now this is the piece for which we will create a replacement order. So we can have replace and credit at this one. However, we have one more option. On registration we can also create a quarantine order, and we can quarantine the goods, and then we can also link a disposition code on the quarantine order. So for replacing the goods, this one 31, we will create a quarantine order and then link a disposition code at the end of the quarantine order processing. And for other pieces, that is serial number 04, scenario replace and scrap: replace the old goods with the new one and scrap the goods being written as they are no longer can be used. We will link replace and scrap. And the pieces with serial number 05, scenario return to customer: reject the goods being written by the customer and send the goods back to customer. Is actually found okay, so we will simply reject the return for the same and we will return the customer. And the serial number 06, the bicycle with serial number 06, scenario scrap: scrap the goods being written as they are no longer usable and credit the customer. Is of no use. We cannot put it back to inventory because it's no longer can be used. It is totally damaged. So we will simply scrap the inventory and we will send the money back to customer. So except the serial number 03, all the lines will be registered now itself. But for serial number 03, we will create a quarantine order. So and on the registrations, it will create a quarantine order for the same. We can also create the quarantine order for all the lines, but I just want to explain the concept that the return order line can also be quarantined and then processed. So then as a next step, validate the journals. A journal is okay, then click on post. So as you can see, the quarantine order has been created. Then if let's say if we would have not split the quarantine order line, then it would have been created for 5 pieces, and then we could have used the split functionality to split the quarantine order line. The split what we did on journal line can also be done on split on quarantine order, and different disposition code can be linked here. But for now, the quarantine order has been created. Then under the general action menu, we link the correct disposition code, that is replace and credit. So we'll create a replacement order for this and credit the money back if there is a difference in the replacement amount. So we have linked a correct disposition code, then we can report as finished the quarantine order and finally end the quarantine order. Then coming back to return order line, here if we refresh, we will see 5 different lines. As we can see, there are 6 different lines have been created. This is the line for which we reject the return and we are sending the goods back as it is. So here we can also see the disposition code here. It's a 51, then 61. The disposition code which we process are also copied on the return order line, and finally 11. Then return order line, we have taken the correct disposition action, and as soon as we registered, we can also see another sales order of return order type has created. As you can see, the order number 664. Now For the return order line 31 and 41, that is the replacement product. So we need to create a replacement order for the same. So 31 being the replace and credit, and this is being the replace and scrap. When we process the journal line, this particular item will be scrap, but this will be put back to inventory, and this will we will send the money back to customer. So in order to create a replacement order, we need to set up the replacement. So click on return order line and then click on replacement item. This option will only be available for the disposition action of replacement type. Then click on replacement, and here we can see that we have different pieces available. So the pieces with serial number 07, 08, 09, 010 are the which we had already available in inventory. So we can we can send serial number 07 as a replacement quantity, enter the sales quantity as 1, and then click on apply. And for this, again click on return order line replacement item. Here we select the products which we want to send as a replacement. So for this we will select the serial number 08, enter the sales quantity 1, and then click on apply. And now as a next step, we can packing slip update the return order from here, or we can also go to the sales order of type return order, this one, and we can also update the packing slip from here. So this is a sales order of type return order, and then we can check the total. So as we can see here, total 4 pieces we are going to, for 2 pieces we are going to send replacement order, and 4 pieces we will send the money back. So that is each piece is of 100 euros, so 400 euros what we are going to send back. And but we have charges of 20 euros, that is handling charges. One is derived from the return reason code and one is derived from the disposition code, so total 20 euros. And finally the invoice amount which will be sent back to customer, which will be credited to customer, is 380 euro. Then as a next step, we can packing slip update this sales order. Click all items and click lines, click OK, and then finally invoice update this sales order. So 380 euros have been credited back to customer account. Now one more thing which is yet to be done is, as soon as we packing slip update the sales order, if we refresh, it will create the replacement order. So here we can see the 2 pieces we need to send as a replacement, that is with the serial number 07 and 08. That can be seen if we enable the dimension, batch number and serial number. So as you can see, the serial number 07 and 08, that is what we need to send as a replacement goods to the 2 items which we received. So we will pack them. This can be processed as usual. So we will deliver this to customer, and finally invoice update. And for this we will receive the 200 euros back. Yeah, and now let's look at the on-hand inventory ones. So on-hand inventory looks something like this. We have received the serial number 02, and we have also received the serial number 03 back, and 7, 8 have been delivered as a replacement goods, but 9 and 10 is still available. And serial number 01, that was damaged at the customer end. Serial number 04, that we scrap and send a replacement order, and serial number 05 we simply scrap at our end. So this is how we can process the return order. Another option of processing the return is using the credit note, and that is directly from the sales order. This is the replacement order which we just invoice updated, and let's say one of the pieces again being written by the customer. The credit note option from the sales order is equivalent to the disposition action of credit type. So we, from the sales action menu, click on credit note Here we see the current invoice. The invoice is for the current sales order. Select that, and here you select the quantity being written, so that is one piece. And make sure that if this is checked, then it will delete the existing sales order line, and we don't want the already invoice line to be deleted, so we leave it unchecked, and then we click on OK. And as you can see, it creates a sales order line with negative quantity. Now this can be processed as usual. So we can give a batch number B1 and serial number, let's say 07 is being written. And now this can be packing slip updated and invoice updated as normal sales order, but this is equivalent to receiving the goods from a customer. So this can be also used if we want to process a credit note for a particular sales order. However, there are no other type of disposition codes can be linked here. The only action which is equivalent to disposition action of credit type can be processed here. So we are simply putting the inventory back and crediting the customer for this particular sales order. So this is again another option to process the customer return.